So as a little backstory, the gym that we're painting today is actually a gym I painted 8 years ago. There's a funny little Easter egg. You can still find that video here on YouTube under the channel name Shane DRK. I was just in my studio creating art, doing the usual thing, when I got a message from a name I haven't heard in a long time, saying he was looking to get his gym refurbished. Now here I am back to a place where it pretty much started, and I remember the early days of painting this. I was just starting out, getting grips to how to do murals. To be honest, it's really exciting to be back with a whole new level of skills, as well as seeing some of my old works from a previous Sotep. Before we start jumping into painting this mural today, let's just have a look at some of the old work. I always say to many people who have advice on how to become mural artists, and it truly is just to start. Just to start. This here is 8 years old. It still holds. It still just communicates what it is I'm trying to do when I'm painting the wall. It's aligned, it's strong, and it's effective, and it does the job. So if you feel like, oh, I'm just not good enough yet, just build your skill up, build it up, and start slowly and slowly. Before you know it, you're doing bigger and bigger walls. And talk about this wall. Now I think it's time we just crack on with it.
Hey. Next to rock like Mick Foley, it's Nick Joby, kill him softly, play that shit slowly. On the keys like Tony, throwing subs, they get toasted. About my bread like a hoagie. This beat ice cold, look how I ride this Zamboni. I feel like old Tiny, good anywhere you throw me. She eat a Chobani, cause her body getting bony. Late night, heavy scrolling, vape light, heavy smoking. We got our healthy habits, we been already growing. It's like we drowning in them, it seems the levee's broken. But it's not too late to change them, and refrain from being slaves to the vices that encage them. I'm writing on this page like I'm throwing hands with Satan. Don't run from all those demons, gotta stand your ground and face them. Sometimes you break, but through destruction comes a renovation.
So this character is now lined in place almost perfectly. I really took my time with this because I just want everything to be fully detailed, and this character has a lot of tattoos, so I'm gonna have to go in and do all the details. Now there's a second character going right here, but we've hit a little problem, and that is this pipe and radiator on the roof. Why is it a problem, you're probably asking? It's because the eyes sit exactly where the pipe is, meaning there's going to be a lot of detail in that area, and I'm going to have to work around layers of pipe and make sure it looks good from all angles. Not only that, but it has a drop shadow, so that drop shadow is going to come on the portrait, so when you look at it from a distance, it may look a little bit off. But if I take my time with it and just layer up slowly, I should be able to pull it off and still make it look readable.
Find something that's bigger than a verse or a rhyme. Find your wings and then the courage to fly. Cause we all just trying to build.
Just behind me here, I've got some of the background elements down, just surrounding the character, and this guy is a lot bigger than I imagine him to be. Now it's just a process of figuring out every single color I want to put into this portrait, setting up, and just going in with all the details. This portrait here, you can see there's a lot of colors here, and to begin with I want to make it as simple as I can. So the lightest tone I'm not going to use for now, I'm going to use the second from lightest, so this can. The darkest, the very darkest I'm going to use, the second from darkest I'm going to use, and I'm just going to use a middle tone. All the other tones I'm going to incorporate later because they're just to add flavour and a bit of colour to the face. You really want to keep it as simple as you can, with the plan to use the ones I just mentioned there, and then move to the lighter ones and the more cans as you then develop later onto detail. But now you just want to focus on big shapes of shading and the blocks that are in place. And once they're established and it communicates to the viewer that yes, that is the portrait, then you can start blending and going in and start rendering it. For today, that's going to be a wrap. I've got a lot of detail in the face, and the background's already come together. The whole thing's been pulled up to be ready to be finalized. It's taken a lot longer than I thought it would be. I said to the person it's going to take 3 days, but I can imagine actually taking somewhere near 6. But what I'm just trying to do is make sure all the details are there. I'm happy with it, and really just push the level of art as much as humanly possible. I'm just gonna explain quickly a little bit more about the background here. So you can see the straight lines vertically coming down. Basically, that is achieved with this here masking tape. This will be your best friend. I know some of you are already just loving your own art in a sense where you like to do like portraits or character design, and this is more sort of like, I would say graphic designy, but having knowledge in every sort of aspect, every field really helps. Especially if you're doing big commission and murals, sometimes you've got a lot of space or gaps that need filling with some sort of texture or some sort of background fill, because it wouldn't look good if it was just packed full of, let's say, characters and it's all chaotic and you can't really read. So learning things like this is really helpful. All you want to do is grab your masking tape, you line it across 2 sections and paint downwards, and it's clean, it's effective, and it really does do the job. Right now we have hit a problem, and this is the first time I ever hit a problem like this really on a commission. When I designed it all up, I had the wall in place, but there's one thing I didn't account for, and this was this radiator, which I talked about earlier. I have a piece of wood in between the 2 slats, between the middle there, as you can see, but still, even with that in place, I'm just going to show you. The portrait looks super off from this angle. And this angle and any other angle. It's because I still have a drop shadow where the light is coming off. There's too many lines in between the most important part of a portrait, which is the eyes. So I messaged the client, just explaining my situation, and luckily he see my work, he knows I do the art stuff, so he just said, trust my ability completely, which I'm so grateful for, because literally for the last hour and a half, I've been doing it, lining it up, trying to do bits here and there, but it's still, it looked weak, especially compared to this portrait here on the flat wall where there's nothing intervening with the portrait. This does happen. This does happen sometimes on commissions. You have a good thing, a good structure, straight ahead, and sometimes you just have to adapt on the wall and change things as you go. it, guys. We are finally finished on this massive project. I said to the guy at the very beginning, it's going to only take 4 days, and I think it's ended up taking about 7 or 8. So I need to say a massive thank you to the guys at Winton ABC for the patience. Checking out the final result.
Me under the weeping willow, waiting I'll be.
Thank you so much for coming along on this journey with me. This has been one hell of a battle, which I think fits quite well with it being a boxing gym, but in the end, it turned out extra spicy. So thank you again. Until the next video, keep creating, you stay well, peace.